Okay, we're here today with Britt Jones from Backwater Firearms, Livingston, Alabama. It's a windy day at Reese Bottom. Britt, how you doing today?
Doing fine.
Good, good. I recently wrote an article, or a blog, I guess, for the website, where we talked about clicks and MOA, adjusting scopes, and I know there's another adjustment on a scope, Parallax. I understand that scopes have focal planes, which in the passage of the image through that focal plane, sometimes it gets a little, maybe your image isn't where you think it is, and that's where the parallax adjustment comes in. And also, Britt, I noticed an article I read one time where a guy suggested he went behind the line and he thought that a large percentage of their scopes were not properly adjusted. Could you give us some understanding of what a parallax adjustment and how to determine when it gets adjusted?
Yeah, what I see a lot with different people shooting long, mid-range, 500-600 yards. I've looked through their scopes, and they'll have, sometimes just 2 to 3 inches of parallax in their scope. And what that means from shot to shot, that is a possibility that their point of aim could be 2 to 3 inches different from shot to shot. Wow. What they have to do is, a lot of people look through these scopes and they just focus the image sharp, what appears to be sharp, and with no regard to the parallax itself.
Well, Brett, let me stop you right there. I've got a scope that I shoot on my bench rest BR, and I think I've noticed at times, say at 500 yards, where, if you focus it till it's real clear, and I still see some movement in my crosshairs. What's your thought on that?
That's the parallax that we're trying to dial out.
How would you determine at which point you got it dialed out?
What I do is get behind the scope and try not to touch the gun, and just a slight movement of the head. When you're in the scope, if you move your head just ever so slightly, if the crosshairs move across the target, you've got parallax. You should be able to dial the parallax out to where when you move your eye behind the scope, that the crosshairs remain in the same place on the target.
Okay.
The easiest way to do that, it takes a little practice. You need to be moving your parallax adjustment, especially the side parallax scopes. They're a lot easier to do, but you need to be moving that adjustment as you move your eye. Coming from a photography background, it's very similar to focusing a manual focus camera lens, where you go beyond the parallax one direction, then back through it to where it looks like it locks out, and then go the other way till you see parallax again. Then you work your way back to the middle, is the way I like to do it. But you should be able to get the parallax completely out to where when it's gone, that crosshair will be rock solid on the target without any movement.
Okay, well, Brett, we thank you for that, and we'll see how this turns out and where we go with it. Appreciate it.
Well.